Hello everybody. Today we have a really special bike in the shop. This is a 1989, maybe early 88 Yeti FRO. This thing is awesome. So unfortunately, at some point in time, someone resto modded it, made it a 1x10, 1x11, kind of modern Shimano group set, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I have a vision to build this up with error correct components. It does have some cool things on it right now that we're going to be keeping. We have a Chris King inch threaded headset, an Ibis titanium quill stem, and otherwise the rest of the parts are non-original, but I mean the paint is in really good condition. There's the Yeti skidding head badge. Now this is a round tube, so some history that I've learned about this bike is that, well, kind of begin at the beginning. In 1985, roughly, John Parker bought Sweetheart Cycles, and he started making Yetis. He changed the name to Yeti in 1985 and started making Yetis, and the FRO was the first bike he made. And they started with round top tubes. And then they switched to the oval top tube that everyone knows and loves. An interesting fact, if you find yourself an old Yeti, is they started at serial number 300 because he wanted that people to think he had built more bikes. And then production kept on moving along, and this bike is actually not one of the early ones, even though it does have a round top tube. Around serial number 600, which would have been late 88, early 89, they ran another batch with round top tubes, which is what this one is. So I'm gonna build this back up to 89 spec, probably. I was leaning towards XTR M900. That wouldn't have came out till 92. So a little bit before this, but I might still do that just because I think it would look really good on here. But first, we're just going to start by stripping off the components that we're not going to use, giving it a deep bath, and going from there. So we're just going to take her all apart, except for the frame set, because we're keeping the quill stem, the headset, and the frame and fork. Everything else is coming off, and then we will clean it all up, and we will start the build process of what we're going to put on here. So let's get started by taking things apart, and we will go from there. So I would have loved to have found this with the parts it was built up with, because I feel like it probably wasn't stock. Based on that Ibis titanium stem, like that would have been a really hot piece of kit. So it would have been interesting to see what else would have been on this bike. But we'll never know. But plan is to do something super cool with it. I honestly think that I will be selling my 98 Yeti Arc so that I can keep this one. I am much more of a steel is real person, and this thing looks sweet. So that one will probably be going apart and get sold. And I actually got a third Yeti that came with this one. So I'll pull that one up and make sure to show you. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that one. That one was also built up the exact same way, modern 1x drivetrain. So again, kind of a bummer, but it's like a 2000 Softail. So not as cool as this one. But these parts, we're just going to put both these build kits right on a bike to sell. So the group sets are going to go to, they'll go to a good cause. So it won't be a problem. So there's a few things I'm going to need to track down. Probably the hardest thing to find is this quill stem supposed to have a 90 noodle on here. Because you see, it's a really big hole. So there was supposed to be this fitted in 90. So I have to modify something for that. But otherwise, I think we have all the things we're going to need. To build it up. But I was really amped. I like my other Yeti, but the rigid fork isn't correct on it. I just put it on because I prefer rigid forks. So to actually have a rigid Yeti is gonna just be better for me. I like it better, and that's what counts when you're collecting bikes. So that's okay. And this thing fits me. I already took it for a spin. I might need to run a riser bar just because I'm not the most flexible person in the world, but we'll see. But the paint, this thing was obviously, it's a little dirty. It was probably ridden and then put away and never cleaned, but it's in good condition. We'll get all this stuff off and give it a wipe down, and then we'll look it over again. But we got the seat post collar, which is nice. I don't see any cracks, no dents. So all good signs there. Trailer hangers in good condition. These wheels are just some Shimano hubs to, nothing special. Can't believe somebody desecrated the Yeti like this, but we'll bring it back to its former glory. I believe 730/732 Dior XT would have been the group sets out in this time frame when this came out in '89. A lot. Ooh, I have the perfect wheel set. I just realized. Stashed in my office, waiting for the perfect project. So, wheels we have under control. We're probably going to use nice air. Ooh, I got an idea brewing. A really cool idea brewing. I'm thinking I have a pair of nuke-proof, carbon-shelled wheels. I have Nice top line crank. That would look good on here. And then just a nice Dior XT group set. Maybe the height right. All right, that could be a cool build. That's what I'm thinking. I would have most of the parts here at the shop. I might have the perfect saddle too. This could be good. I could have everything I need to throw this together today if we don't run into any complications. Fingers crossed. No complications. We'll need a seat post. That's one thing I don't think off the top of my head, can't think of what I would put on there. We'll have to see what size it is. Go from there. Cool feature. 1, 2 bottle cages on the down tube. So there's none on the seat tube. That's a cool feature. Oh, those bolts. Those are our bolts. So we're going to take those back. We're going to put those back in here. Yeti. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Chris King. I mean, the paint is in really good shape. Obviously, it has some chain damage here and some tire rub, but I mean, for being 34, 35 years old, it just looks spectacular. You know, the head badge has some rubbing from the cables, but we'll just slightly trim that up with a razor blade so there's no flappers, and it'll look good. Well, let's get this handlebar off and the crank off, and then I will wipe this beautiful, beautiful bike down and start gathering some parts. Not sure. I think I have an 89 Stumpy that has all the other parts we'll need off of it if we use the top line crank and the new proof wheels. We'll just have to find a silver handlebar. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that is a heavy handlebar. Whew. Glad I'm not keeping that. I'm putting all these parts on the table because I'm gonna put them on a bike right away. We'll build up some kind of. We get a lot of like Trek bikes that have nicer parts, but the frames are nothing special, and we'll build them up with those one-bike kits to sell to sell to people that want to get into mountain biking and give it a dabble cheaply. A 26er with a one-bike drivetrain is a good way to do it. So that's what we do. I'm gonna go grab the bottom bracket tool, and then we'll start to give this a bath, and we'll start to build it back up. Okay. Well, now comes the fun part. We're going to shine this up, make it look cool. I'm going to cut this I like the shark fin. We're going to cut it off just so we can clean under the frame. And then we'll put it back on when we get it rebuilt up. But so now you can see there's some dust and grime in all the nooks and crannies. So we're going to give this a big old bath. And look at the shapes. I don't know if they come through good on the camera, but the shape of that quill stem is just gorgeous. So hopefully we can find that L piece or make one, no problem, and we'll get this thing up and going. Oh, it's still glued on pretty good. We're just gonna leave it. We'll re-zip tie it when we're done, but it doesn't want to come off, and there's no forcing it off, and we'll just clean around it. So cool. I'm gonna go get a fresh rig because this bike deserves to be worked on with a fresh rig, even though I do have a lot of clean-ish rigs right here. None of them are fresh. Yeah, it's already really cleaning up, which is great. That is gonna be sweet. And I think the build plan is gonna be really cool. So I'm gonna finish cleaning, and then I will go and start gathering all the parts that I think we're gonna need to build this up. The hardware on this stem is also titanium, which is cool. We'll probably have to take it out and weigh it because, sometimes you just got it. You're curious. Another way to tell if you have an early Yeti is the early Yetis use simplex dropouts, which is this has. So you can see it's stamped right there. Yeah, it's all just in really good condition. Whew. I'm pumped. This all developed in like 2 days. Saw them for sale, got them, and now here I am. I couldn't wait. I had a lot of other things I needed to do, but sometimes I keep telling myself, well, this will let me sell my other Yeti, so it's all good. So that's why you're getting brought this epicness. So I hope you're all as excited as I am. Okay, so I've been doing some pondering about what to do for parts-wise, and I really am leaning towards M900 because I have parts off that broken Manitou. I have the cantilever brakes, and I have the shifters, which are still dirty because I haven't cleaned them. So I would need a front and rear derailleur still, because the rear derailleur on the Manitou was an M952, and the front derailleur had the special clamp, and that's already been sold. So I'll need to track down a front derailleur. I do have some tires I want to use. These are the Ritchie Megabyte Z-Max tan wall, just a really good World Champ series. So just a really nice tire, and I have 2 of those. I do have some purple Anno Ringo cages. These are cracked, but throw some washers on the bolts and you can still use them. The reason I'm leaning towards those purple is because I found the wheels that I want to use, which I'm for sure going to use these. These are titanium nuke-proof hubs to Mavic 231s with purple nipples, which would, a little bit of purple to go with the purple cages. I'm probably not going to use these skewers. These are some more modern purple skewer. But so positive, going to use the wheels. I've already slotted in the rear wheel. So tight, like I said, there's that sweet tie nuke proof shell to go with the tie ibis stem. These are a freewheel, so I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have an 8-speed Sachs freewheel on it right now, so we'll just keep that. Free body seems to be in good condition. So for sure using those wheels and these tires, leaning towards doing M900. I have this Wicked Willie Air that I like, but it's been semi retro modded. It's a 97, but I'm contemplating taking this top line crank off. Really nice, shiny silver top line crank. I would change the chain rings because these are 9-speed. Race face to probably some Shimano's or maybe some, something cool. But contemplating putting that on. So top line crank, XTR 900, canties, shifters, front and rear derailleur, handlebar. I kind of wanted to do something tie, and I do have this Tie Tech Bontrager bar. It is missing the clamp because this is 22.2. That stem is 25.4, so I will need to get the shim for this. Seat post I haven't figured out yet. I do also have this Hyperlite bar, which I need to chop the ends off of that came off that Manitou. So I could use that. But it's probably gonna be actually as long as the tie bar, and then I wouldn't need to get a shim. So those are options. I've been looking for a project to run this Tornado Tour saddle on because I just love the pattern on it. I'm not sure if it's the right. There's no yellow on this bike, so I'm not sure if the yellow decal would look good or not. But that's kind of what I'm leaning to. And then maybe running some, I don't know, we could maybe run some yellow bottle cages instead of those purple Manitous. Purple Ringles, but then what about the purple spoke nipples? I don't know. So I have some things to ponder. So we're probably going to call this the video. Let me know what you think I should do with the Yeti. If you're for the M900 build, even though it's not correct. This is an 88, 89, so it'd be like a XT 730, 732 build. But I have that nice XTR stuff, and I love those brakes, so I'm really leaning towards those brakes. But could change my mind. But this is kind of the project we have going on at the shop. I always wanted an old Yeti like this, so I'm super pumped. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing and reading what y'all think should be done with this Yeti. The link to our shop is in the bio. We have tons of parts. So if you're working on your own projects and needs parts, make sure to check out our shop and have a good rest of your day. Bye.